Fast Bulletin. My name is Malcolm Sima. Let's have a look at the headlines first.
However, his actions are his own, not ours at all.
Accused of rape, Michiana police arrest one of their own for allegedly taking advantage of a 16-year-old girl. And to the rescue, Good Samaritans donate £1 million shillings to triplets' mother who was abandoned in a Busia hospital.
One of the policemen deployed to guard the plane, which is parked by the side of the road, has been accused of defiling a 16-year-old. Chaudhry was the driver of this fire engine truck, but is now alleged to have broken the police's professional code of conduct. The father of the girl claims that one Rehema Bikomiao, commonly known as Mama Akram, who cooks for the security operatives here, had a hand in what happened to his child. The girl pins Bikomiao of raising the volume of the TV screen in her house so that no one could hear her screams.
However, his actions are his own, not ours at all. He stands for his own interests. We as police, we have a code of conduct. We stand for discipline, integrity, and professionalism in everything we do.
The residents have complained. They want the aircraft out of their sight. Chaudhry could face charges of rape and defying the police force's ethical code of conduct.
And what had been a major attraction for the villagers has now turned into a problem. NTV Uganda and its initiative NTV Cares has launched a drive to mobilize funds for a mother in Busia district who gave birth to triplets, but then was abandoned by her husband. And Lion Assurance Company has been the first to respond with a donation of 1 million shillings to the mother to clear her bills at Dabani Hospital.
When Annette Nasirumbi delivered triplets at Daban Hospital in Busia district 10 days ago, she was excited just like any other mother. But that was to shortly turn into grief. Her husband walked out on the mother and the babies, claiming that triplets were a curse and strange in his family lineage. Nasirumbi is stuck with a 10-day accumulated hospital bill worth 300,000 shillings. But there is good news for her. Some Good Samaritans have come to the mother's aid after watching the story on NTV last night. NTV is also mobilizing more funds to help the mother live a better life in the absence of her husband.
We break the story, we go out and find the calamity of the problem, and then we are part of the solution. We even go back, even if it is 2-3 years later, to show the progression of what has happened. So what we have decided to do is now call upon companies, corporate companies, individuals and people, come and donate to us, come to NTV offices, contact us.
Lion Assurance Company is the first to respond by donating 1 million shillings.
Like the Italians say, he who gives first gives twice. So we have decided we need to give this very fast. And this family is struggling to raise, according to NTV, 300,000 shillings to pay the bills in the hospital. So we believe the 1 million shillings we are giving will go a long way to help the family.
The 24-year-old Nasirumbi now has 5 children. The mother and the babies are in good health. Irene Namialo, NTV.
The Constitutional Court has declined a request by the State Attorney to adjourn proceedings in a case where rights activists are challenging the anti-homosexuality law. Patricia Mutesi had asked the panel of 5 judges to push the matter forward, urging that she had been served notice that the main petition was to be heard today, and she was not ready to proceed with it last week on Friday.
This petition was filed in this honorable court. It's not true that when we appeared before the registrar, what the Attorney General stated to court,
counsel for the petitioners in that matter.
Other things, even the applications we filed.
In the case of Paramanga against the Attorney General, position of the respondent. President. And so we agreed to go to the registrar.
The allegations there ever since March this year.
The judge was not here, and therefore being here, you could not go on.
Responses at once.
So still in relation to that story, among the activists under a group called Civil Society Coalition on Human Rights and Constitutional Law, MP Fox Odoi, Andrew Mwenda and Professor Oloka Onyango, who hope that the court will agree that the law passed in January violates Uganda's constitution by encouraging discrimination based on sexual orientation. The petitioners had asked the judges to issue an interim order stopping the police from implementing the law. They have enlisted the help of top lawyers like Kale Balaka and Ladislas Rakafuzi and told the court that though they had been served with notice to proceed on Friday, the state should have been prepared since the petition was filed in March this year. The legislation means that anyone convicted of engaging in gay sex could face life imprisonment, and anyone found guilty of conspiracy to commit homosexuality, aiding and abetting homosexuality, or promoting homosexuality could face up to 7 years in prison. On-property developers are being urged to scale up the volume of housing in order to shake up the current 1.6 million deficit across the country. Herman Kasekande, the Chief Executive Officer of Standard Chartered Bank, says that the institution is 14.9% interest rate on mortgages, says is the lowest in the market and should shore up access. He was speaking at the launch of a partnership with property agents and developers aimed at growing the market.
Where the developers have got to invest money is something in what they call the land banks in the developed economies. That is where the developer should actually, if you are looking at fixed assets, that is where the developer puts money. And depending on the liquidity of the market, liquidity of the industry, then probably that is also somewhere where the banks can also play. Because when they create a land bank, then the developer goes with a solid proposition to the banks. And for many of us in this room who have probably tried to put up structures, the hardest thing is actually to buy land. You can have all the plans and everything, but the hardest thing is to buy land.
NTV at 1 will be back immediately after these messages. Just stay tuned.
Grow your wealth with ICEA Asset Management. Invest wisely with our unit trust fund that offers individual investors, companies, groups and associations a chance to pool funds together, invest, diversify risk and build real wealth for a minimum contribution of 100,000 shillings. Invest, reap, grow. ICEA Asset Management. Profile of stability.
on the next episode, brought to you by...
At Orange, we know you want to do more on the internet. That's why we bring you happy hour day and night.
On the next episode of Destiny River.
Victor? In the flesh. How are you? Max Martinez. I'll keep you posted. See you later, partner. I will see you around.
I won't settle for half of you, Solano. I want you all for myself. With me.
Destiny River.
You can download movies at the lowest prices and never fast from Orange. Dial *133# to buy a data bundle. Happy hour changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
Welcome back. Postbank is persuading agriculture farmers to take full advantage of its multi-billion agriculture financing program to grow the sector. Stephen Mukweri, the managing director of the institution, says that at 12% of interest charge on agriculture credit happening at the tragic drama caused by massive movements at a cultural event. Hospital sources said that there were 13 girls among the dead. An investigation has been launched to determine what caused the tragedy, and the official in charge of organizing such events was suspended. And elsewhere, medical officials in Sierra Leone say a top Ebola doctor in the country has died from the disease. Sheikh Huma Khan was affected earlier this month and died on Tuesday at a ward run by medical charity Doctors Without Borders in the far north of the country. Miata Kagbo, Sierra Leone's health minister, called Khan a national hero and praised his tremendous sacrifice in working to save the lives of others. His death comes days after Samuel Brisbane, a senior doctor at Liberia's largest hospital, died on Saturday at an Ebola treatment center on the outskirts of Monrovia. Several other medics have been affected, and the aid group Samaritan's Pass said on Saturday that a U.S. doctor, Kent Brantley, who was working in Liberia, was also sick. Health workers are at a risk of contracting the disease, which spreads through contact with bodily fluids. And that's as far as Ebola is concerned in West Africa, where it has killed lots and lots of people, and also going on to worry the international community. And that's it on NTV at 1. But just before I leave, we don't have sports right now, but you'll get whatever you need from the sporting world from the team Dakawa Chigongo and Aaron Darren in Omuri Games. But just before I move off to Studio B now, Aaron Darren, the Youth Championships games, the Cubs are in Kigali, but the accusations right now, Matia Ray, the coach of the Cubs, is already pointing fingers at the Rwandan FA, and talk that has also been going on different radio stations that the Rwandese have decided to push this game to another venue, which is about 150 kilometers away from the original venue, and that was Kigali, and then of course also pushing it a day ahead from the original day, which is I think Saturday. What is your take on that? Is that likely to affect the Cubs' performance, who are already leading by 4-0?
Well, Malcolm, I'll certainly tell you one thing. Every team that's going to host a match on the African continent will try to do that. Will try to frustrate the teams that are going to come and visit them. In a setting where CAF has made it mandatory that the home teams will have to take care of the referees as well as the venues for the games, I certainly saw this coming at a point. I saw this coming when the fixtures were changed and taken to Gisenyi County, from where everyone would have thought they would have played at the Mahoro Stadium. It's one thing that also happened to Uganda back in 2007 when Nigeria took the game away from where you would have thought they would have played it in Lagos or Abuja and taken it far away in Abokta. In the recent qualifier, the AFCON qualifier, they still did it to Kenya, and Kenya had to train on a surface that almost looked like had a lot of dust on it. And it's one thing, I think Rwanda just want to get the result, and hopefully so Matiala and his boys.
So what do they need to do to overturn that 4-0 deficit? Are they likely to beat the Cubs, by playing those games? But Coach Matiara says that cannot bother them. How do you think that's likely to affect their performance?
I thought they got a meaty result. The result they got had a lot of flesh on it. And it's one thing I think The Rwandan side will have to fight, first of all, not to concede a
They're
single
really worried
goal.
about that, and turning for it is not easy. And Alan Darren, of course, and Team Dakar Chigongo will be expecting you to give us news on Man United's performance last night when they were playing Inter Milan, and all the other Premier League news, as the Premier League will be back on the 16th, I guess, of this month. But this is on NTV at One. Enjoy your show coming up next.
NTV, turning on your world.
Sometimes children have amazing ideas, but they can lead to tough stains.